Hash 7 of 9 is great, but Jeri Ryan's best Star Trek Voyager performance was a different character. When Star Trek Voyager introduced 7 of 9 in Season 4 Scorpion Part 2, the franchise took a massive leap forward in character complexity. With her sleek Borg exosuit, calm analytical precision, and internal conflict between humanity and machine, Jeri Ryan 7 quickly became the show's standout figure. Over the years, she evolved from a de-assimilated drone to a fiercely independent woman with a unique moral code and identity crisis that challenged both Janeway's authority and Starfleet's ideals. 7 of 9 is great, undeniably so. She anchors Voyager's latter half and gave the show emotional and narrative depth that arguably saved it from creative stagnation. But despite all her acclaim, Ryan's best performance in Voyager may not have come from 7 at all. In fact, her most daring and emotionally raw moment arrived in a single scene where she played someone else entirely, 7's hallucinated human self, Annika Hansen, in the Season 5 episode Infinite Regress. This performance is often overshadowed by the broader arc of 7's development, but in its brevity, it reveals Jeri Ryan's full range in a way 7's controlled stoicism never quite allows. It also speaks volumes about what Voyager left unexplored and how close it came to pure dramatic brilliance. 7's transformation was always internalized. By design, 7 of 9 is restrained. That's the essence of her struggle. She doesn't know how to express emotion, not because she lacks them, but because the Borg stripped her of the language to articulate them. Her story is one of micro-expressions, shifts in tone, and subtle body language. Jeri Ryan mastered this minimalist performance. It's what makes episodes like The Raven, Dark Frontier, and Human Error so haunting. They ask us to witness a person rebuilding herself from the ground up, using nothing but intellect and intuition. But it also meant Ryan's performance had to stay within 7's psychological cage. The show rarely allowed her to break out of that character completely. 7 would crack, but she'd never fully shatter, at least not a 7. Infinite Regress offered a loophole. Infinite Regress, a glimpse into the fractured mind. In this episode, a damaged Borg vinculum infects 7 with a kind of virus, a constant stream of residual personalities from drones the collective had once assimilated. These personas flood her mind, hijack her behavior, and speak through her with terrifying randomness. Over the course of the story, Jeri Ryan embodies no fewer than a dozen characters: a Klingon warrior, a panicked child, a shy Vulcan, a seductive woman, and a Byron freedom fighter, among others. Each performance is distinct. Each one is a mini masterclass. Ryan changes her voice, her posture, her energy. It's like watching a possessed person switch through lifetimes of trauma, each more confusing than the last. It's brilliant sci-fi horror, pure psychological disintegration wrapped in Starfleet aesthetics. But the crown jewel of this episode is the final breakdown, when 7 relives the moment she was first assimilated. The mask of 7 is gone. And what's left is Annika Hansen, age 6. Annika Hansen's breakdown, Jeri Ryan's hidden triumph. The moment is brief but devastating. Curled on the floor, sobbing and clutching a stuffed animal, Ryan plays Annika as a terrified little girl begging for her parents. Her voice is high-pitched, trembling. She's lost in fear and confusion, unaware of where she is or what's happening to her. It's jarring because it's so unlike 7, because for once, Ryan is not bound by the character's emotional restrictions. There's no intellect, no calculated resistance. Just pure, unfiltered terror. It's a harrowing look at what was taken from her, her childhood, her innocence, her entire life. And in that moment, the audience is confronted with the human cost of the Borg in a way that no collective threat or phaser battle could ever convey. Ryan doesn't need prosthetics, vocal modulation, or expository dialogue. All she uses is a voice cracking with helplessness and a posture of total vulnerability. In a show full of diplomacy, technobabble, and ethical debate, this one moment feels like a direct scream through the fourth wall. This is not 7 of 9. This is the ghost buried beneath her. And Jeri Ryan nails it. Why this scene matters more than it gets credit for. In a franchise that often treats trauma intellectually, diagnosing it, debating it, resolving it in a tidy epilogue, this scene breaks the mold. It's messy. It's painful. It doesn't resolve anything. We don't get a follow-up counseling session or a tidy conversation with Janeway. The episode ends, the vinculum is neutralized, and Seven goes back to her restrained self. But the emotional residue lingers. This is why Jeri Ryan's performance here deserves more praise than even her best 7 episodes. It required her to strip away everything the character had built, to regress not just into another personality, but into the origin of the wound itself. She became the trauma, not just its victim. In doing so, she gave us an unforgettable glimpse into what was truly lost when the Borg came for her. We often celebrate Seven for her strength, but here, Ryan shows us the shattered foundation beneath that strength. And that's far harder to portray. The acting challenge, a showcase of range. Let's not understate how technically challenging this performance was. Most of Ryan's characters in Infinite Regress appear for mere seconds. And yet she delivers them with enough clarity that we instantly know who each one is. She plays a hungry child one moment, then turns into a stern Klingon bellowing war cries the next. There's even a moment where she seduces Harry Kim as a completely different woman, suggesting that Ryan not only understood each role individually, but could embody them fully in rapid succession. It's theatrical. It's almost Shakespearean. Very few Star Trek actors were ever given this much range within a single episode. Patrick Stewart occasionally got to play different versions of Picard, and Brent Spiner explored Data's personalities and family. But even those rarely matched the sheer kaleidoscope of personas Ryan had to spin through in 42 minutes. And unlike Stewart or Spiner, she didn't get to warm up into these characters across multiple seasons. She had one shot, one episode, and she made it iconic. What Voyager could have done with Annika? Infinite Regress leaves a tantalizing possibility unexplored. What if Voyager had let us see more of Annika? Sure, we saw Seven reflect on her humanity in episodes like The Raven, Survival Instinct, and Human Error. But we rarely saw Annika herself, her personality, her warmth, her individuality, outside flashbacks or simulations. The raw emotional truth of her inner child was mostly locked away. It's a shame, because Ryan clearly had the tools to carry both characters. Imagine a dual performance storyline, Seven versus Annika in a holodeck therapy simulation. Or a mirror universe where Seven was never assimilated. Or a Q-induced alternate timeline where Annika grew up human and joined Starfleet. Ryan could have portrayed all these versions and probably elevated them far beyond novelty. Voyager flirted with these ideas, but never quite committed. And that's the difference between a great performance and a career-defining one. Ryan's work as Seven is great, but as Annika, it's haunting.